Police in River State have declared former Niger Delta militant leader Gabriel General Asabuja wanted following a viral video where he made threatening remarks amidst local government council disputes. The Commissioner of Police, Tunji Disu, condemned Asabuja's actions for causing panic and assured the public of police efforts to apprehend him. The state has been tense due to conflicts between Governor Siminalayi Fubara and former Governor Nyesom Wike over local government tenure and leadership, leading to protests and political warnings against violence. To dissect the matters today, sir, concerning this, sir, it has been a cascade of issues following since the court case has not been dealt with concerning tenure elongation and the caretaker committee chairman and all that. So it has brought about protests and counter-protests. And we've heard of some deaths. And recently, a failed blast, a failed explosion during the protest of those loyal to the FCT minister. And now we are hearing of a viral video concerning a former militant leader apparently asking for the River State governor to stay put, and he is going to be in charge of those that are going to chase away, per se, the political opponents from distracting him. That has led to the police declaring him wanted, maybe because the verbose and all that potent security implications, sir. I want to know your input concerning this development, sir.
Well, the first thing that I will say is that the police has the responsibility to maintain law and order in the society. At least the aspect of our internal security is completely their turf.
Exactly, sir.
The other part of it is that if we are a law-governed society and we are ruled by the Constitution, we must be conscious of handling issues and nipping challenges and threats to our collective existence in the board.
Exactly, sir.
Because actions beget actions. I think I saw that viral video, and if I remember correctly, even where he was making that video, I think there were some police even around that showed in that video around him, exactly, where he was making that statement. And those were still operatives of the Nigerian police.
Exactly, sir.
The other question to ask is, he made the statements were inflammatory. It was even surprising that he would be saying that. He introduced himself as a general, even though we now describe him as an ex-militant leader. He appeared to still have all the clout, whatever it takes as a non-state actor, exactly, to act in such a audacious manner. But the other thing to also remember is that sitting council chairmen also made similar, very direct inflammatory statements against the sitting governor.
Okay.
And nobody saw anything wrong with that. This is our elected governor, the topmost servant in the state, the #1 citizen in the state, and sitting council chairman, at least one, the chairman of Zato Biabo also, okay, and made very inflammatory, derogatory statements about him, and nobody reacted. And his statements were in response to that one. So you see how actions beget actions. Again, really, the state seems to have lost it on many fronts. And I hope God helps us to manage those problems. Because we call him ex-militant. And he's supposed to have been rehabilitated and all that. But to the knowledge of all the state actors, to the knowledge of the police, the SSS and all that, these persons are still somewhat in power, holding on to whatever made them powerful then, and is still keeping on to those structures and influences. So these are some of the problems. And again, now that the police have declared him wanted, Is it that it is actually out now to nip the bud of the crisis, or it is being selective? Are they being remote controlled, like they've been alleged to be acting more in support of the FCT minister? Or are they coming out now that they want to actually deal with the crisis from both sides and be neutral in making sure that the state enjoy the peace that they deserve, so that the governor that we have elected can actually do the work that the citizens have elected him to do?
Okay, sir, but be that as it may, the governor being the chief security officer,
yes,
and the number one citizen of Rivers State,
yeah,
ought at this point, concerning security situations, knowing how volatile Rivers State could be when it concerns these matters, should take the first step in ensuring that there is peace and calm in Rivers State in any way possible. Being that there are non-state actors over the period of time that have made inflammatory statements, some in support of the governor, some against the governor, and the governor has not dissociated himself from non-state actors, being that he doesn't have control over their actions, and their actions are going to be detrimental to the general safety and well-being of Rivers and all citizens living in Rivers State, sir. Do you think the governor ought to take a stand against non-state actors and make a statement concerning that, including with the inflammatory statement this former militant leader said, sir?
Well, in terms of real politics, I don't know any governor in the state that have made that open statement to dissociate himself from the activities of these actors. Maybe the only person that will really come to my mind a bit is ex-governor Rotimi Amechi, because he was one governor in this state that actually fought those non-state actors to a very, very good, because he came in at a time when they had almost virtually taken over the state. So he was out and he did a lot at that time. After that time, I don't think anybody or before have made such statements. And what those who are in power do is they try the best they can not to run into trouble with people who have some certain level of leverage, except they have to, except their hands are forced. And under this current crisis, the control of the boys, in quotes, is a power, is a leverage for power for both parties in conflict. So some of the boys are on the part of the former governor, some are, if this person has spoken in his favor, nobody will expect him to come and condemn him. Okay. Because even the police are said to be more in favor of the minister, maybe because they are federal. But I think some elements of the police are also working with him. So it's a funny situation. But as a sitting governor, surely he has responsibility for, as the chief security officer in the state, to make sure that there is peace, there is law and order. But this is not something he does by himself. It's something he does in working with all the security agencies and all that. If we had a state police, for instance, now, then we will say, okay, this is his stuff, and he's in total control. If anything goes wrong, we'll say, this is your problem. But this is a federal police, yeah. And sometimes the federal police even work completely against the interest and the power and the instructions of the state police. So you cannot hold him 100% accountable for these things, yes.
Okay, sir, concerning the call for state police, if it comes to the part that we have to support or dissuade a proposition for a state police, using this as a case study, do you propose or do you dissuade us from going ahead with the implementation of the state police, sir?
I think that it will be proper to have a state police, because whether you like it or not, there are some form of state policing already going on. In almost all the states, they have some kind of vigilante. We have had the neighborhood watch in Rivers State. Even the attempt to keep these boys and empower them is some form of state policing. In the rural areas, what is this? The security establishment that arose from Onelga, OSPAC and all that, they are still in operation. So why not make it formal and create the laws to govern them and actually train them?
Wouldn't it arm the demigods
They already,
that are the
they already
governors
armed.
I mean, the governors that are already demigods.
See, these young men with under different colorations are already operating. They're already armed. They're already under the control of the governors or some other power actors within the localities or within the state. So if you create a state police, create a formal law, make people accountable, some of those boys might have the courage to stand for what is right when they know they are protected by the law. Under than a situation now where they are just acting under expediency and survivalism, where they feel that they must do whatever it takes to just stay afloat and obey the person who is in power. If they know they have the state behind them and they have some protection, they might be able to stand right and even oppose the governors. But now that they are not having that, then they are completely at the mercy of the control of whoever is the governor of the state. We cannot wish that away. The federal police is not able to man the entire country. And when you have the state police and the federal police, then it will be possible for both agencies to actually check themselves too. Share power, if something is happening, somebody will say this is what is happening, the other person will say their own. And it will create some a better security arrangement for the state.
Okay, sir.
And for the nation, yes.
Okay, sir. So concerning the present, the heated politics we're finding ourselves in, we
yes.
know that we do not wish for any other person to die anymore concerning this political debacle we found ourselves in. In as much as we come here to also inform, we also want to educate. I want, being a Don, you are to give a word of advice to the warring parties on the way forward, sir.
I think I've said something to that effect somewhere else,
okay, sir.
And I will still emphasize that. The key actors in this crisis need to know that the influence and power they enjoy is because of the states, because the citizens trusted them at some point or voted for them at some point to lead both the ex and the current, and that in whatever they do, they should consider the interests of the state. And beyond this appeal, they ought to also realize, just like the former governor is now an ex-governor, in a question of time, he will become an ex-minister. And the current governor will also become an ex, just like those before him. And there will still be states, and the posterity will judge them. Now, when you get involved in activities that cause the mindless death of young people, of innocent citizens, then that will be on you. And you never know what is going to happen tomorrow. So they need to be more careful. They need to be considerate. They need to realize that this state belongs to all of us, and that it is already a lot of privilege that you are in a position to call the shots or to have played a role in the governance of a state such as ours, something you should cherish and not continue to abuse. We need peace for the development of the state. And even for all the power and influence they have garnered, for all the resources, they still need an atmosphere of peace to enjoy that wealth and to continue to enjoy. I wonder how they even sleep, knowing all the crises and all the problems and people switching camp up and down. You don't even know who is your friend and who is your enemy. And these are people who dine together, who work together for so long. They really need to put all this conflict apart and think about the progress of the state.
Okay, sir, still in the call for peace, do we think that it is right for the, because for some time we've not heard from the minister himself, verbatim. But, I mean, recently the Senate committee came visiting.
Yes.
And the governor, per se, made comments that opposition were in charge of trying to blow up the explosive device very close to the living quarters, the lodging quarters of the Senate committee in Presidential Hotel, you know, kind of casting aspersions on the minister being a leader of such a move. Do you think it's high time that the governor also toes the path of silence to engender this peace that we are also asking for? What's your opinion, sir?
It might be easy for the minister to be silent, but the governor cannot be silent because he has to account for what is happening around him and in the states. But And generally, you know, when there is a crisis like this, a lot of people can take advantage of that crisis for their own interests. His accusations might be true or might not be true.
Pending police investigations.
Yes. The police needs to investigate. I don't know what information he had that prompted him to make such a statement. And in his capacity as a sitting governor, surely he knows the weight of what he has said. That it is not something cheap for a governor to say. But again, it is very possible that other actors, and even those who are claiming loyalty to this or that party, might do things to even inflame the atmosphere in order to take advantage of it. There's something we call in crisis the economy of violence. When there is crisis, people take advantage. People take advantage of that crisis. Millionaires and billionaires are made during crisis. Some people, some local parlance has it now that people are cashing out in this crisis.
Exactly.
So for those people, they want the crisis to continue. And that is what these leaders also need to be mindful of and make more concerted efforts to make sure that this ends so that we can begin to face the issues of development.